Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If this is the very first time you've discovered me, yay, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thank you so much for coming back. My subscribers already know that my goal is to save you time and money by giving you the inside scoop on filmmaking quality and content so that you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money watching a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called The Featherweight. This creative sports biopic premiered at the 80th Venice International Film Festival. It hits theaters in New York, Connecticut, where the story takes place, and Los Angeles first, then moves nationwide in October 2024. The film is rated R, and I'll give you some tips for parents here in just a minute why it's rated R. It's 1 hour and 39 minutes long, and my overall movie review mom grade is probably about a B. I actually really enjoyed this. I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell. I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also really like. But first, let me introduce today's featured product, which can be found on Amazon. It's the biography of Willie Pep, which is what his nickname was, on paperback. And you can find it using that link that's down below in the description. You'll learn so much more about his life. I didn't know anything about him, so I thought the film was really interesting. But now I'm getting ahead of myself. So first, let me give you an overview in a nutshell. The film was beautifully directed by Robert Kolodny in his debut. Screenwriting credits go to Steve Loff, and Robert Green served as one of the producers and also as the film's editor. Already, the film has been nominated for and won awards at several film festivals, including Best Director of a Narrative Film, Best Director overall, and Grand Prize. So congratulations to this new team. Let me give you some quick tips for parents. First of all, I think young kids are going to be extremely bored. It's a bunch of adults talking most of the time. Teens might be interested if they're into boxing or maybe into history. There is cigarette smoking. There's lots of alcohol shown. There's talk of premarital relations and infidelity. There's some profanity and some F-bombs as well. There are bickering adults, quite a few scenes with people fighting. I mean, verbally fighting, and then also physically fighting in the boxing ring. Illegal drug use is portrayed, and there is some Italian that is spoken with subtitles. So you have to read the screen to know what's being said. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are looking back at your glory days, boxing, Italian Americans, pride and ego, age, and living your dream. And then the last one, I think, is something that we absolutely can all relate to, and that is just wanting to feel special. We see several people in the movie that are looking and hoping that somebody will recognize them for a talent or some special, unique thing in them. And I thought that that was really meaningful and interesting. So here's the list of things I really liked about the film. First of all, James Madio. I looked online how to pronounce his name correctly, and I heard all three of those. But anyway, James did an excellent job as Willie Pep. And yes, Willie Pep was a real-life boxer who held the title of World Featherweight Champion 2 times between the years 1942 and 1950. His real name was Guglielmo Papaleo. And they kind of joke about that name in the movie. James gives an excellent performance and truly disappears into this role. Kudos to him. He might even be nominated for something. I thought he was that good. The rest of the cast also does a fantastic job. It includes Ron Livingston, Stephen Lang, Ruby Wolf, Keir Gilchrist, Michael Siberry, I'm slaughtering these names, and Lawrence Gilliard Jr. How about that? You might remember that Ron Livingston, Frank John Hughes, and James Madio were all in the hit TV series Band of Brothers back in 2001. That is such an incredible series, and I've watched it several times. My oldest son was really interested, and I was like, I don't know. You know, this was when he was in high school, and I thought it's rated R, it's about war, I don't know. But he was really interested in the military, and I thought, okay, this could give him a dose of reality, and then we'll see if he still wants to go into the military. He did. He absolutely did. And he still is in the military today. But anyway, the American Italian accent and the East Coast accents were terrific. Everybody just did such a great job. They were believable accents for me. Now, I don't live on the East Coast. I used to live in the Southeast, but anyway, I'm probably going to get comments of people saying, no, it wasn't realistic. I thought it was believable. We get to see what is made to look like old footage, as well as actual real life clips, taking us back to Pep's glory days and to the 1960s. The film truly captures the spirit of the period. The goal of the film was to give it the look and feel of a documentary. It includes interviews with various people, old photographs, and video clips, providing Italian translations into English when needed, and the names of the characters written on the screen, like the ones that you see in documentaries. Now, some of those photos are real, but the interview documentary footage obviously is actors nowadays, today, reenacting the conversations that might have taken place. Anyway, I thought it was a really interesting blend of documentary and feature film. It's almost crazy to think that a 42-year-old would be an old has-been, but in sports, that's kind of true. The film does a really good job illustrating how we can hang on to our past sometimes and wish we could go back to our younger, better, healthier, stronger selves. I've had those thoughts a time or two, but we need to set new goals and move forward and create a new life, right? And so I thought that the film illustrated that really well. I absolutely loved the smile in the fight scene at the end of the movie. It said so much. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad they did that. The music is never overbearing. That final song that we hear as the movie turns dark and the credits begin to roll, it's really great. And it really matched the feeling that last scene gave us so well. Now, with all of that praise, I really could only think of a couple things that I didn't like or thought could have been done differently or better. For example, there's a lot of shaky cam, intentionally trying to imitate an old documentary film, like found footage almost. It's effective, but shaky cam makes me so dizzy, and I wish it had just been every now and then. I mean, they're kind of saying documentaries look terrible, which they don't. And so I wish they would have eased up a little bit, because I found myself looking away from the screen several times, just because I do struggle with vertigo. And I'm like, oh, stop. Anyway, and then the other thing was that some scenes could have been tightened up to hold the audience interest better. Some areas of the film kind of felt a little slow, a little boring, dare I say. And then something would pick up and something interesting would happen. And then we'd kind of go back to, Act 3 definitely speeds things up and things are happening quickly and you're really interested. So I'm just saying, if you're enjoying it, but you're starting to get a little bored, hang in there. I think that you'll really appreciate the ending. Now, whenever I watch movies, I write down funny lines and interesting lines, so simply I can share them with you and get a taste for the dialogue and the script writing. So I'll share some of them with you right now. You can see all of them written on my moviereviewmom.com website. So one of the funny lines is spoken by James, and he says, I'm not going to win any beauty contest with this face. And it's really cool because they actually create the scar that he did have in real life. And it actually looks like a scar. They did a really good job with the makeup team. And then another interesting line, or funny line, but also really interesting line, is when Willie Pep says, I'm older now, so I'm always looking back. And I could relate to that. I'm starting to get older and I'm thinking, reflecting on what I did, what I didn't do, what legacy would I ever leave to my kids, my family, what mistakes did I make? How can I move forward and be better? All of that kind of stuff. So I thought that was a really good line. I have more lines, but I'll just share one more. This is spoken by Fran Papaleo, who is the sister of the boxer. And she says, Willie, she's talking to him, Willie, you don't have to be a hero forever. You just come here. I just wish he would let it go. So she's talking to him, and then she's talking to the documentary filmmaker saying, I just wish he would let it go. You know, he had a great boxing career, but now people are laughing at him because he's beyond his prime and he wants to relive those glory days so badly. And at some point, he's got to just move on. All right. So, whenever I watch movies, I instantly think of films that I want to recommend to you. And these are ones that have been out for a long time, but they're such great boxing movies that if you haven't seen them, I think you should definitely check them out. The first one is Rocky, of course, right? And there are a million of those. Most of them are really, really good, but definitely check out that first one, especially if you're younger and you've never even seen that franchise. The second one is called The Fighter. And by the way, all of these casts are just terrific. Also about a boxer. And then the last one is called Cinderella Man. Again, fantastic cast, boxing, an underdog story. All of these are really good underdog stories. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope that if you watch this movie that you really do enjoy it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And by the way, links to all of those movies are also in the description below. If my reviews help you to gauge whether or not you want to spend time or money, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you ring that bell, you'll be notified as soon as I publish another movie review, which is almost every single day. So have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.